Good morning. My name is Gethin Christine Morris. It's so wonderful to have all of you here this morning. Today we're going to be practicing a Yin Yoga sequence specifically for the hips. And Bernie Clark is definitely the pioneer and the wonderful guru for the Western world for Yin Yoga. I highly recommend her book, Yin Yoga, or any of her other resources if you want to take Yin to a deeper level to help you with your personal practice. So today, this flow comes from that specific book. You're going to want some sort of blanket or towel that you can kind of roll up to support the shin later. And then a couple blocks are always wonderful, and a strap is really good too. And it's easy to use this for any of the poses that might be like a wide-legged forward fold. We're going to be using that to help bring it up in the air and try something a little bit different. And the first thing that we're going to do this morning is a short meditation. So I'd like all of us to find a wonderfully delicious, comfortable seated position, whether that's easy pose, or you can come into half lotus or full lotus, whatever your body is craving this morning and is available, remembering that each moment we're honoring where we are with our body in this specific day and time. And you can always use anything to support your low back, like the blanket or a block or a bolster. All right, wonderful. Well, coming into a seated pose, if it's comfortable, close your eyes or leave a small, soft gaze, like a small opening or a soft gaze, otherwise known as a drishti, where you can kind of focus either at the tip of your nose or somewhere out vaguely in front of you. And I think I'm going to switch how I have that. And what we're going to do is focus on the breath. And I can figure out how to make an opposite lotus, which is always funny. Why am I always playing with, you know what? Yeah, this we go. Okay. That's what I had. Okay, great. I'm feeling like more of an intense stretch here on my right leg, so we're going to try and see how this holds up. Settling in. First, we're going to start with Nadi Shodhana, and you can have your first two fingers on your third eye if you'd like. Your right thumb coming to the outside of your right nose. Oh, this is the opposite. And your right ring finger and pinky on the outside of your left nostril. So blocking the right side and taking a deep breath in. Blocking the left side, taking a deep breath out. Deep breath in. Blocking the the right, deep breath out. Keep doing that. Sometimes you might want a tissue. If this is the first time that you've done Nadi Shodhana for the day. Lovely. And we're going at your own pace for Nadi Shodhana. Remembering to use a lot of control with that lower abdomen as you are bringing the air in and expanding the belly, and then forcing the air out on the other side and really giving it some tone, you're not punching it out, but you definitely don't want to just, you really want to have a nice flow in, really strong and big, and a nice flow going out, again, strong and big. Last 2 rounds, and what I'd like you to do is think about how you're balancing out your nervous system while you are going through alternate nostril breathing. And this helps calm and center our attention right down into our navel. So last time. Wonderful. Lower your hands to your knees. Have your palms up. You can lightly touch your first finger with your thumb. And here for our meditation, I invite you to really honor and be aware of exactly where we are in this moment. Maybe reflect on how the breathing felt. If that brought up any sort of physical sensations, emotional, mental. Noticing and letting go. Noticing and letting go. In Yin specifically, the focus definitely goes inward because the poses are held for longer, giving appropriate stress onto the joints and in the plastic tissues. You want to do this cold, not like you're shivering, but not warmed up necessarily. Very brief warm-ups if you do anything. You don't want to generate heat in the body. So as we are moving through our yin, we can come back to our sankalpa, which I did an entire class on setting a sankalpa. It can be as lengthy as going on a journey for an hour, talking with your spirit guides, your spirit animals, anything that comes up. Or it can be very brief and short, a positive mantra, something like, I am healthy, I am whole, I am complete. Or my life is filled with magic, I am abundance. Anything that feels right for you, I invite you to explore. Let it surface, and that will be your point of centering as we carry this meditative state through our practice. Wonderful. Coming in, you can put a heart into your hand or a hand over your heart. I kind of like that. Bring your heart to your hand. It really invites opening in the chest and a broadening in the collarbone, and bring your belly to your other hand. Yeah, that invites you to really breathe and bringing it low in the belly. Wonderful. As you know of your Sankalpa, then that will be your anchoring throughout practice. And please feel free to use the props as I offer or with your own creativity, but definitely giving support for your body. Yin is that balance of feeling a deep sensation, as deep as you want to go today in this moment. And yin is the balance of not going too far into it, causing pain. So that will be your key awareness as we move forward. Now I'm going to do a little close up to check the time, since my stopwatch is conveniently upstairs where my children are, so I'm not going up there to go get it. All right, let us begin. We're going to do butterfly. Now, butterfly in a seated position, you can have something underneath your sits bones. You can fold the blanket once. You can have it folded twice. You're going to want to bring it up so that you do have some sort of extension happening in the spine before we begin to round over. Something you know that will help support your body getting into the pose. And then you can take either block and place them underneath your knees. And the other part that you can do is wrap your strap kind of on the outside parts of your feet, holding it tight. And you can use that to help you have this forward motion, this forward stretch. And those are some options as we stay in butterfly for about 3 to 4 minutes. Honoring where you are. And as you feel you are ready, going deeper, even if it's just by a millimeter. Remembering that you can do your Ujjayi breath subtly, doesn't have to be very intense, but it is nice to have a slight constriction in the throat to stimulate your parathyroid and your thyroid gland, and to activate Vishuddha, your throat chakra, as you are lifting the breath up in the back of your throat to the roof of your mouth. Sending it down the same passage, using the breath, the strength in your abdominal cavity. It's really your diaphragm. To be a nice sounding point for your mind to focus on. It really does help with a meditative state, with staying present in the moment. And two, it helps invite your cells to open up, to create space, and to be fully activated as the healing process is happening. Couple more breaths. And slowly coming out of it, release the strap and the blocks if you have them. We're going to do that counter pose to help really feel the rebound effect. And you can do nice windshield wipers. If you have your knees brought together and then falling from one side to the other, coming back on your hands if you like this. Or if you want, you can come all the way down and do this. And it helps get even more of an intense counter pose in the lower back. Okay, roll on up, and the next one is going to be straddle, but if you have a wall space, even small one, I was thinking of doing this on the wall using the strap. Again, you can use your blanket to help support your back or the sits bones if it's a little uncomfortable. What you want to do is kind of scoot your way up to the wall. There we go. Wonder if you can see, yeah, basically. And then you can have the strap come to the outer edges of your feet and hold it where it feels comfortable. And allow your legs to really enjoy an intense sensation, but deeply surrendering into it. And so the strap can be very helpful. So your calves, your thighs will be resting on the wall, and your buttocks might as well. I'm kind of like in a doorway, so yeah, but that's all right. Wherever you've got the space, and then if you have the openness and flexibility and want to feel it more, you can activate your kneecaps while activating your toes to be more toward your face. So flexing the feet and surrendering into this pose as your hips open. And as it feels appropriate for you, and as your body invites you to, please go deeper into the pose, even if it's not so much a movement as it is an opening space in your body. Deeper breathing, longer inhales, longer exhales. Hello, I'm recording. A couple more big breaths here. Noticing any sensations that you might be having or experiencing mentally, emotionally. Releasing the strap, go ahead and slowly bring your legs together, and you can slide your feet down the wall, maybe opening up the knees, and then essentially, whoops, oh my goodness. When you have a wall, there won't be that happening, but you're going to be sliding back a little to give yourself space again to do some wipers, some windshield wipers. A nice gentle side to side rock. And when you feel that rebound effect, you will feel this pulsing in areas that are very tense, and feeling the tension and the stress as we are blocking off circulation and flow, lymphatic flow on those specific areas. When we release the pose, you'll feel this pulsing, and that's exactly what you want to feel. That's the rush of fresh oxygenated blood coming into those joint areas and capsules. All right. And we're going to do, let's do caterpillar, which is a forward fold. However, let's do it up the wall. So hopefully you're still laying down, but go back to your wall pose, and you can have your strap. You can use your blanket again to support your lower back, and wrap it around the outside of your feet. Now, you can use the wall. Oh, why does this door not shut? That's all right. You can use the wall to support your calves, the back of your legs, or you can pull your legs towards you. So, two different kinds of motion happening, and essentially the same thing gets done. And whatever feels right for you, I want you to experience the intense sensation where you are at, and allow this energy to wash over you. In a vinyasa class, legs up the wall is known as waterfall, and that is a really nice image of water, of healing waters flowing over your head, down your spine, and surging up the backs of your legs in like this cycle. There we go. And if you wrap the strap a couple times around the outside of your ankles, you can kind of have your arms up more, and to give a slight tug will help intensify the sensation. Remember, as you feel tension, breathing becomes very, very important. To help facilitate the cellular healing, the tissues, the joints, the muscles, the ligaments, the cartilage. Well, muscles is a byproduct, fascia is a byproduct. Really, we're getting into the cold aspects of the body, the bones. A couple more deep breaths. Deep breath in. And as you exhale, slowly release the strap down the back of your legs. Point your toes. Flex your feet. Release the height. Use the wall to help push you away a little bit. Slide away. And go ahead and just let your body rock it out, side to side. You're doing wonderful. If you need a sip of water, please feel free to do that whenever you like. All right, now we're going to do some we're going to do a little bit of shoelace or fire log pose. I feel like the name doesn't matter so much as making sure we do the pose. All right, so for this one, again, you can have that blanket underneath your sits bones to elevate you, or the bolster. You do really want to aim for nice extension and expansion in the spine moving upward. And also, you can have the blanket or block underneath the knee to help support getting one ankle, in this case it'll be your right ankle, over the left knee. And a lot of times it's going to be kind of like this until you get the space and openness where it's like fire logs stacked on top of each other, or you're tying your shoelace. Not sure the name on that one, but anyways, to get there, if you are up, which is very common, and you'll see like a rounding in the low back, that is no problem because we are very much in office positions a lot of time. So you really just want to work it out slowly until your body naturally will unwind and unround. That being said, let's get into your perfect shoelace position. And you can gently apply some pressure on the inside of your right knee if that feels good and if that's available. Coming back to the Sankalpa. As it's available, feel free to bring that fold into this, I'm not really rounding my back, I'm keeping it straight as I'm kind of folding over, just slightly. Now, because we are doing the right over the left, I'm saying that for myself because after this, we're going into a dragon, low lunge, little cycle, and then I'm going to cue left over right, so the opposite. So whichever side you're doing now, just make a little mental note so that you know what opposite will mean when it comes time. One more big deep breath in. Exhaling through the mouth, if that feels nice. Rounding down and over. Slowly coming out. And then coming into tabletop. This is a wonderful counter pose. And you can just have a neutral tabletop. Bringing in the core with your shoulders stacked over your wrists and your hips stacked over your knees, and then doing any organic movement that might feel nice to help release that pose. Stay here for a few more seconds. I'll try and okay. Perfect. I think I will have a sip of water too for a second. My goodness. Wonderful. All right. So for dragon, we will use a blanket. Dragon is low lunge. And we will use a blanket. I'm just thinking about which side we're going to do. Okay. Whichever foot you had on top, you're going to use that as your forward foot. And for me, it was the left because I'm teaching the class, right? And so I'm going to use my left foot forward. For you, I was cueing the right side, so you would be using the right to come forward. Now, if you want the blanket, you're going to bring it underneath this back shin or underneath the top of your foot, underneath your knee, or the whole gamut. And then bringing both blocks underneath your hands and having your ankle under your knee so that really there is this beautiful 90-degree angle happening here. And we're going to kind of sink into this low lunge for a little bit. Dragon. And you can have your blocks like stacked up or flat, or you can come all the way down to your hands. Excuse me. Focusing on the breath, coming back to your sankalpa. Whatever your beautiful short mantra is, bringing you into the moment. So I call this baby dragon, probably because we're on our knee. I think low dragon would just be a full lunge. That's okay. It's like half moon. I always reference that just in case it helps with alignment cues for your own practice. Okay, and now we're going to do winged dragon. So bring the outside hand from your foot, from the front foot, out a little bit. There we go. To give your knee some space. Oh my goodness. To give your knee some space as you roll out your ankle a little and kind of flapping it slightly. And when you find a nice open place that you can rest, okay, this is a little cumbersome for myself, then you know what? There. My goodness. Bring your hand on the inside of your knee. That way you can do whatever you need to be a winged dragon here. And allow your ankle to roll out. Wow, that took me a minute. So if you want, you can bring the block on the inside right underneath that foot. Use it to help you hold this beautiful, delicious, juicy pose. Even say, you can come down to your elbows if that feels good, even on the blocks. Everybody doing okay? All right, come up if you are on your elbows, and you're slowly going to curl your knee in. You can move the blocks to the side. We're going to gently walk and step it back into downward dog. This camera, promise I'm getting a better camera when I teach other classes. Anyways, we're going to pedal it out. And in downward dog, really, you do want a lot of extension in the upper shoulders. So you're pushing up off the joints. And you're not sinking into your hands, really. You're lifting so that the center of your palm is lifted. And you really want that energy coming all the way up to your sacrum and then all the way down to your heels. All right, coming down onto your knees and then back down into the mat. We're going to do shoelace again, but opposite side. So I will cue opposite. Left ankle on top of the right knee. And this side could be absolutely completely different. So feel around. Play with a blanket underneath. Does that feel better? Does that support your low back? Maybe you had 2 blocks under both knees the last time, and maybe this time you you only need 1. And so I really want you to use your props as a source of going inward and checking with yourself. What feels best? What's available today in this moment? And when you find that sweet spot as you're Essentially, your ankles and your knees are stacked over each other in some fashion, with props or not. Then I want you to melt into this pose, melt into the stretch, and begin deep breathing. If you want a sip of water, go ahead and take it. And if it feels right to bring your heart forward, to really lean into this pose with a straight spine, and to gently press into the top leg to give that hip flexor some openness, some real juicy goodness. A few more breaths. Deep breath in, really expanding through the spine. Straightening as much as possible. One more breath in. Hold. Releasing all the way down through the toes. Beautiful. That was wonderful. And slowly release. And then do what feels great to get yourself into tabletop. And you can use the blanket under your knees if that feels good. I can come up a little bit. And just making sure everything is stacked over each other. You can rock side to side. You can go back and forth. Great. And then we're going back into baby dragon because the leg is down, or half moon. Anjaneyasana. Okay. Anyways, Yin Yoga. Baby dragon. And so opposite legs, whichever leg was on top comes forward. Okay. And you can have your blocks however you'd like. as long as it is supporting your stretch, and then really make sure that that ankle is under your knee. Oh, that feels good. The thing that you want to stay away from is this, where your knee is over your ankle. That'll be a cocktail for injury. Also, look back and just check that your ankle is straight and your toe is straight. And deeply breathe here. Okay, now bringing that arm on the inside of your foot and scooching it out a little. Roll your ankle out. And you can't really see from the camera position, but you want to, let's see if I do. You're rolling that ankle out, having your knee kind of flapping like a wing. And this is called winged dragon. And when you find a good place, settle and fly. And again, if it feels good, coming down into your elbows as this external rotation and adduction in the hip happens. I said add, I meant abduction. Coming back to your sankalpa, that intention, to the center of your breath, the center of your focus. Okay, slowly release that ankle, slowly release the knee, moving the blocks, bringing that foot back, and then coming into a downward dog. Walking it back, sending it up. If this is too much for the arms, you can have blocks under your forearms or even under your hands to help bring the earth a little closer to you. So you can play with blocks on down dog always. And pedal it out a little. Maybe move the blanket off the mat. Make it a little easier. Engaging the core. Letting the rebound effects do their healing work. Releasing the neck, And slowly coming down to your knees. Maybe just taking a little toe squat here for a second while I check the time. Wonderful. Okay, so we are going to go into reclining twist. And this one is fun. I'm laughing at myself. That's okay. You can use a blanket underneath your back. Again, supporting, giving comfort. We do want to come all the way down to your back, and essentially you're planting your shoulders down first, and then slowly you can bring both knees to the side, and you can reach that outside leg over the inside. So for me, it's left over right. And then keeping your shoulders planted, you can have one hand on the outside of the thigh while your left arm back here is extended and reaching. And then go ahead and look towards your fingers or beyond. You can also have this foot extended if you want. There's a lot you can play with reclining twists. You can use a strap. You can use a block underneath this leg for your knee to kind of rest on something too. Or you can bring it down to your ankle. And then the bottom leg can be straight or bent. Whatever is going to help facilitate a deep sensation that you can surrender into. Oh, okay, that's what I thought. Good, just to make sure. Okay, go ahead and slowly release. Bend the knees. Shoulders are planted, going over the left this time. The right is going, the hip is going to lift up off of the mat. And then just look at all of the unlimited possibilities in the spaces. And then slowly release. And you're going to bring your knees to your chest and do small circles. one way and then the other. And then hug them. Just give them a hug. Grab the opposite arms that you normally would. Squeeze your hips, your knees, your shins. And take a couple deep belly breaths and massage your organs on the inside abdominal wall. Relaxing your shoulders. And when it feels right, you're going to come into Shavasana. Okay, good. we have some time for Shavasana. Okay. Very important. We've been through all 6 degrees of freedom in our hips with internal rotation, external rotation, abduction, adduction, extension, and flexion. All of these amazing healing tools are profound, and it created a lot of space and openness in our hips. And as a side byproduct in our low back, in the backs of our legs, all the way down to our ankles. Because you're releasing the piriformis, the sciatica, these long muscles that are connected to our hips. Go back to your sankalpa and let it settle into your being, into your body. I am healthy, I am whole, I am complete. My life is full of magic. I am abundance. If it was any of those or your own, seal it back up again, making a complete circle from the beginning of class to now. I'm so, so, so proud of you for showing up on your mat, being here today, and taking a yin class. Yin for me is very special. I love getting deep into the cold tissues of the body and the cartilage and the bones and the joints and the joint capsules and all those goodies, plastic tissues. And I highly recommend being present for yin at least twice a week. I have a very good internal clock with classes. That's good. Now you can stay and breathe and be in your Shavasana for another several minutes. Or you can slowly come up bring your hands to your heart center Give yourself some acknowledgement and some praise for being here and showing up for your body. Say thank you. I love me. I love my body. I love honoring all parts of my body through the beautiful practice of self-care and self-love. Have a beautiful rest of your day or evening. If you did this at night, that's a very good time to practice right before bed or in the morning, like myself. And you're ready to do some wonderful cardio later. Have a great day. Namaste.